Azorius control versus Max 1977 MT main tank. Yeah, I'll keep this. I will. Tapped or island? I don't have. It's tapped for more lands. Okay. Interesting. So those are free. Kind of. Can I take a moment here to play another tap land? Yes. I don't feel under a lot of pressure yet. And leaving a counterspell up is fine for me. Taking 2 a turn is also fine for now. Not doing anything. Play another tapped land, so let's use this opportunity to get those out of the way and set up a mana base, which this deck really does want to do. Explores. Alright. Finding the island that they were probably potentially looking for here. So, what to do? Pass the turn, and this time I would love to have one more land, but I don't want to gamble drawing into another land here. So I'm going to take another hit. Pass the turn, and then try to throw a fly in an Emperor. Hmm. Well, let's do this. Let's use our mana efficiently here. And discard one of the lockdowns. Yeah. Maybe another. Maybe I should have discarded the Emperor. Should I just lock down here and keep up? No more lies. Yeah, let's do that for now. I do want to use No More Lies soon. Opponent is definitely using Plague Crafter for something. Okay, I think the opponent, I don't know, they are playing a quite unique deck, some own brew, I guess. But in this case, yeah, didn't work out. The pressure, there was just not enough pressure on me. I had too many turns to set up lands nicely, be patient, and yeah, potentially take over the game. Not theoretically, not practically yet, but theoretically soon. Okay, nice. Game 1 victory. On to the next game. Azorius control versus the virtuous Doug the Great. Yes, I'm okay with this hand. 2 or more other lands. Okay, so tapped land, potentially, definitely shock, and then untapped. Okay, well, red. Oh, red, but no turn 1 play. That's interesting. seeing that there's a stop here currently, I know that they have a 1 mana instant, so that's actually giving away something. That is giving away probably a shock. So yeah, knowing when the game stops for the opponent to make a decision can give some insights, which in tabletop Magic you do not have, but in online you have, unless the opponent is very persistent and wow, they exiled my Get Lost. Okay. Okie dokie. So whatever. I'm gonna have to allow that thing to do that again, unfortunately. Let's counter that. Should I have? I could have temporary lockdown as well next turn. But next turn I can... Okay, another Get Lost, which they can't cast. They did steal it from me, though. That's annoying, but I can live with that. And let's put a stop before combat here. So I can finally get rid of that thing. So luckily it didn't, it was annoying but didn't get any particular value. Alright, so I'm gonna lock down next. Lockdowning just for that? Probably yes, because otherwise I'm gonna get hit for 2, 3, 4. Oh, 4. It's not crazy great, but still it's enough. Especially when I'm at 12. Cards left in the opponent's hand, and I am down to not much left. I cannot afford to activate an Anchorage. I will not be protected well enough next turn. I do need to keep up these 2 counter spells and draw into some of my bigger stuff. Yep, good draw. Good answer here in the No More Lies for sure. Alright, Fountainport can start making mice or treasure tokens. Sorry, fish. But I'm gonna make treasure tokens. Alright, so Dovin's Veto, my only last piece of protection, which doesn't protect against that. However, I can activate my Anchorage. So Veto finally got its perp use as well. And I will block. Well, I know that the opponent could have some pump spell here. Yep, they have the most annoying one ever. Alright, in response, I'm going to... Oh no, I can't. Wait, no, I can't. Okay. Yeah, sure. Okay. That's the turn. I have another Anchorage as protection, for protection. Do they have another pump spell up their sleeve? They do. Alright, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to add this. And sacrifice a token to draw a card here. Okie dokie. So, what do we need? What do we have? I have a Teferi, which can untap 2 lands. And then have my Eiganjo up. Alright, let's go for that play.
I'm not going to say this part. Let's skip to the good part.
Untap these 2. And now I have an Eiganjo. Let's see who they attack. Because we all know 1 or 2 turns with Teferi. Ooh, going for the Teferi. Well, I'm happy about that. So, alright, no blockers. They're going for damage, so I'm gonna go and do this. Okay, glad that worked without any intervention. Draw first. I'm gonna lock down here. Why? Because I don't see any more uses for the lockdown later on, and it only costs 1 mana here because I'm gonna untap at the end of turn anyway, so I'm good with that play. I can't create it. I can. Okay. Attackers. I can create a human and at the same time keep up the march in case they, yeah, try something here. The reason I did it like this is because I wanted to respond to any pump spell. In case. Let's do this first.
We need to move quickly.
Let's play the other one as well.
Let's slow this down. You know
Just
what?
get through this here. And I will untap quite a few lands here, so untap this and this and these 2. So I have a lot of options with my lands as well. And I also have this. Okay, okay. Able to take over control here with Azorius control versus Mono Red. Azorius control versus Collector Jose Lorenzo. This works. Unless they're mono red, then it's always a race. Okay, well, elves. Okay, what could that mean? This, alright, it's angels. So you gained 5 or more life this turn. Da-dee-dum-da-dum. So I need to be afraid of, you know it. Collected company. I'm gonna go for this get lost because that's one of the, yeah, it doesn't really make a difference to be honest. So might as well just kill that now. Okay, they did gain a spirit token here in the process. Alright, so what do we want to do now? Play a Narset and try the sweeper. And have it act as a beacon. Not really great, to be honest. Now, currently the pressure is not so super high, but I do need to find a sweeper more than anything. Supreme Verdict, split up. Temporary lockdown also would be not too bad, actually. Okay, so Narset did a decent job here. So eating up some damage and drawing me a card, so that was kind of a good stalling mechanism there. I do not care about the opponent's life gain. I think these are annoying though because they just replace themselves. But okay. Youthful Valkyrie. Alright, that's what we were looking for. Now, another company would be good for the opponent. And I don't think I could wait much longer there, so to go for this. Okay, okay. Alright, not too bad here. 1, 2, 3, 4. I could play the Emperor, or I could go for... I'm gonna use this as a land because I do have a lot of action, but it's very mana intensive, so I want to be a little bit more going more in that direction. Okay, let's allow this. Okay, the opponent's attacking, so no company here at least, so I can really use the Emperor here.
Anyone who harms my people must contend with me.
Any point? No, everything flies, so let's just get rid of this thing.
You're done.
Do I march for one of those tokens? No. Oh, okay. Sure. I'm actually fine with that. That Emperor did its job. It gained me some life and... Teferi into to what end? Just to stall again and give them a target. Yeah. I have to shock though, because I want to be and that's the only way I can keep up 3 steps ahead.
Keep up the pace.
Okay, so the opponent can pressure Teferi quite easily. This I don't mind. This I also don't mind. Everybody's attacking Teferi. 2, 4, 5, 6, 7. So even if I kill one of the 2 damage creatures, 2, 3, the Teferi will still die, so fine. Alright, now I know they can't play the company. So I can go for a draw option here. try to find a sweeper, which I did! Oh, yes! Woo! Okay, what are we gonna... I'm actually gonna discard the March, because I do want this and the... Yeah. Exile all creatures is enough, right? And graveyards, right? Just exile everything, why not? And I'm actually even left with a 4/4. Oh, that's so good for them. Wow, and it makes... What the hell? Okay, pass the turn. Cancel attacks. No attacks. Pass the turn. Alright, gain life to toughness. Dun, 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 bum, ba, bum. Should I counter draw? Should I even counter at all? Do I care really much? What to do? Let's allow this first. I don't mind the life gaining. Attacking only with that. Interesting. Using Get Lost here because I really want to Memory Deluge at the end of the turn. That's the reason I used Get Lost in that instance. Okay, opponent getting some lands out of their deck, that's fine. And this is something I really need. Perfect. I'm gonna kill my own token, but that's fine. Okay, and now I think I have control over the game. I can remove creatures, I can counter stuff. This one is losing value, or has already lost value, basically entirely, but that's fine. And now I can flashback Deluge, which should put the seal in the coffin. Which should seal the deal. Boom, boom, 51 life. Doesn't mean anything against control. Okay, nice. A victory versus Lesnia Angels with multiple collected companies, I must say. The sweepers, especially the farewell here, but also split up, really doing their job here. And the Supreme Verdict. Ice cast 3 sweepers. Wow, that's what it takes to keep up with collected company. But that's what you need, and that's what makes Azorius Control strong. It has the sweepers. Okay, on to the next game. Azorius Control versus Vindicate Your Land. Yeah, I think even if I'm up against aggro, Lockdown is a welcome protection against that. Okay. Ooh, okay, well, Lockdown is a must here at this point. So, play this, don't play anything, and then next turn I'm probably already forced to lock down here, pretty much. That's what I expect. What this looks like to me. till end of turn. Okay, so that didn't do much. Now I'm wondering, do I really need to use the lockdown already here? I mean, I have the verdict on the following turn as well. I mean, I'm gonna shock... I don't even need to shock that, as if I... to be frank. Well, now I can't lock down anyway, so I took that option by playing that land. But I'm okay with that, because, yeah, let the opponent play more, and then whatever is super crucial, like something that pumps the whole team, I can 3-steps that. So, for now, I'm okay with this attack. And now, well, I do have to shock this still, but here comes the lockdown. Okay, so they did find the land here. Oh, no, they didn't. Because until end of turn. So me removing that on my turn destroyed them. Or made that, make them lose that card as well. Okay, nice. Well, not what nice. I mean, yeah, it was a victory. However, this wasn't really fair and square. The opponent was super low on lands, basically stuck on one land. But I mean, sometimes I had to learn the hard way too. Sometimes you just got a mulligan to even have a chance. And sometimes hands are decided before the game even begins, or games are decided by the hands before the game even begins. But another victory yet for Azorius control. Playing against some interesting decks today, I must say. Not the usual. But that also speaks for Azorius control, which just is able to deal with a lot of different things because of countering directly on the stack or flexible cards like this and this, which can deal with all sorts of non-land permanents. Okay, on to the next game. Azorius control versus E. Smith. Alright, yes, I will keep. Opponent goes first, so the march is a little more awkward. But you can always decide to ditch a Teferi to it as well. If things get too hot and heavy. Too aggressive. So plains or island, 2 or more lands. So this will be tapped and these can be untapped. Split up is not too bad here. The opponent runs Obosh. Odd mana values. Okay, so they only have 1 or 3. So they cannot have 2 mana plays here. Okay, good to know. Okay, there's a hero. And another hero. Okay. So. Keep up the march and prepare for splitting up. Split up next turn. This is not flipping yet. Oh, they're doing this already. All right, let's have that resolved first and see what they do with the rest of their mana on this turn. I can even march both of those away if I really wanted to. Oh, it actually... Oh, wait a minute. What? Oh, it's a... Oh, this was in the upkeep. I see. They did this upkeep so they could scribe. Well played. Alright, here comes the Kamano as well. Alright, let them attack first. No blocks. They are already also thinking of pumping. Alright, so I can... So, how much damage do I want to take here? I'm gonna remove this one. Okay. Right, and now I will split up. Yeah. Destroy all tapped creatures, take 2 from the hero. And hopefully that's just enough to stabilize here the opponent. And it is. It is. Nice. Alright. Azorius Control. 5-0 in Mythic today. Not too bad. And yeah, the Azorius Control is my deck to go to when all else fails. I have, you know, I frequently try out different decks. I try to make as varied decks as possible. But sometimes, you know, it just doesn't go well. And then I have to go back to one of the more kind of known decks, let's put it. Yeah, more in the recap. All right, so recap of today's run, 5-0. Azorius Control. So yeah, as I mentioned during the games as well, today's run was a little bit, the opponent's decks were a little bit more varied and interesting, I guess. So, but Azorius Control still able to keep up with all sorts of shenanigans, let's put it. And yeah, that's what I really like about this deck. I enjoyed playing Control myself. It has the counter magic. The No More Lies is an awesome 4-of, able to deal with anything basically in the early to even mid game. In the late game it becomes pretty awkward, but you have to just try to find a. It's always about timing with this card. Dovin's Veto is also an answer for anything that's not creature and is very good at doing that. Change the equation, just there for some early hard counter for red stuff, or also other counters or early game stuff. As a one-off, I think this is fine. This card can also be interchanged. Lockdown, an awesome deal with all early game stuff. This is the card that makes this deck work. Really, without this card, this deck would lose in power immensely. Why? Because this deck doesn't really run. This is a 3-mana card here, by the way. Let me put it in this slot. Even this is almost kind of a 2-mana card. So you have a lot of tapped lands as well. The Anchorage is tapped, and potentially like the Deserted Beach and Glacial Fortress can be tapped often. So this deck really only starts on turn 2. Which is why you absolutely need Split Up, Lockdown, and Verdict to be the catch-up cards. They need to get rid of multiple cards in one go, and then you start answering 1-for-1, or even 2-for-1ing them with your 3 steps ahead, draw and counter draw, or Teferi just being a value truck, and Emperor as well. So that's how that's the idea. The other upside is the March is amazing, as well as Get Lost in dealing with all sorts of, random stuff, including creatures. And the Get Lost doesn't take care of the artifacts, but it does take care of trained planeswalkers, and the March does it the other way around. It can deal with artifacts, but not planeswalkers. So that is something you have to keep in mind. And then you have the awesome, really awesome, except planeswalkers, but just everything else, including graveyards, which is pretty relevant more than not, or sometimes. Farewell, one of my favorite cards. It's a crazy potent card, and it's just sweep it all out of the hemisphere. And it exiles everything. It's no destroy, it just never to be seen again. And yeah, so Azorius Control always. Oh, and one other thing about Azorius Control that makes it so strong is you have some of the best utility lands. Castle Ardenvale, it's a win con in on itself. Mirrex, another win con in on itself. Fountainport can create chump blockers and be a draw engine as well. Field of Ruin, deal with all the other opponents' stuff. Restless Anchorage, a win con, and also a tapped land which gives you white and blue. Hall of the Storm Giants, another win con, which can end the game pretty quickly in some scenarios. Castle Vantress, scrying 2 is close to being as good as just drawing cards because your selection is just very good. Eiganjo, destroy something and with 4 or less toughness. So yeah, a huge suite of very good utility lands. You're able to, because you're only 2 colored, you're able to run a few of those mono colored ones as well, such as you're able to run 3 Field of Ruins, which is also not a given. So yeah, a lot of upsides. The downside is it is a little bit slow, so the early game can be difficult to deal with. If the opponent starts with the elves, in case of Selesnya, or mono red, turn 1, turn 2, instant aggro, then it can be difficult, especially if you don't have any of those sweepers. Against the mono green Devotion, for example, missing out on countering their Kiora, for example, on turn 2 could already be game breaking. So yeah, but there you go. There you have it. Just some final thoughts here after today's run. And yeah, without further ado, thanks for watching. Have fun. See you in the arena, and peace.